Hi future GISPs. I'm going to teach you everything that I learned to easily pass the GISP exam so that you don't have to study the 210 websites, 1,155 book pages, 1,700 Quizlet flashcards, and 291 videos and podcasts included in the GISCI's recommended study material like I did when I studied for the GISP exam. In this video, I'm going to teach you everything I learned about data security when I passed the GISP exam. Let's get started with data security. Data security refers to the production of digital data from unauthorized access, corruption, theft, or damage. It includes strategies, technologies, and administrative practices that ensure data remains confidential, accurate, and available throughout its life cycle. Data is secured through administrative controls, preventative controls, detective controls, and user access controls. Let's take a look at some administrative controls. Administrative controls define the policies and procedures that govern the secure operation of databases. Overseeing administrative controls can include configuration management. Configuration management governs the setup, modification, and configuration changes to the database system. User administration. User administration includes managing user accounts, profiles, password policies, privileges, and roles. Security architecture. Security architecture involves designing and implementing the overarching security measures of the database environment. Operating system security controls. Operating system security controls secure the underlying operating system to prevent unauthorized access to the database management system. Database application security controls. Database application security controls define access controls and permissions for applications interacting with the database. Change control procedures. Change control procedures ensure all updates and modifications are reviewed, tested, and documented before implementation. Security policy enforcement. Security policy enforcement applies organizational policies for data classification, retention, and access management. And now let's take a look at some preventative controls. Preventative controls stop security incidents before they occur. Preventative controls can include access controls. Access controls restrict database access to authorized users and roles only. Encryption. Encryption protects sensitive data by converting it into unreadable code, both in transit and at rest. Tokenization and masking. Tokenization and masking replace sensitive information with masked or tokenized values to prevent exposure of private data. Data structure and database management system configuration. Data structure and database management system configuration secure the database environment by applying the principle of least privilege and proper role assignments. Permissions and access controls. Permissions and access controls set fine-grained rights, such as select, insert, update, and delete based on each user's role. Network segmentation and firewalls. Network segmentation and firewalls isolate database servers from public networks to reduce exposure to attacks. Patch and update management. Patch and update management keeps the database management system and operating system current with the latest security fixes and service packs. And now let's take a look at detective controls. Detective controls identify and respond to suspicious activity or data breaches. Detective controls can include database activity monitoring. Database activity monitoring continuously tracks who accesses what, when, and how within the database environment. Data loss prevention. Data loss prevention tools detect and prevent unauthorized copying, movement, or transfer of sensitive data. Auditing and logging. Auditing and logging record database logins, schema changes, and data operations for accountability and traceability. Intrusion detection and anomaly detection. Intrusion detection and anomaly detection systems identify unusual or potentially malicious behavior in real time. Alerts and reports. Alerts and reports notify administrators when suspicious or failed access attempts occur. And now let's discuss user access roles and privileges. User access roles define what each account can do after connecting to the database. User access roles include administrator. An administrator has full control over the database and can read, create, update, and delete both data and schema objects. Creator. A creator can create feature classes and tables, and read, update, create, and delete features within existing structures. Editor. An editor can read, update, create, and delete features but cannot modify database schemas. Reader. A reader can only view data without making changes. Groups. Groups allow multiple users to share the same permissions based on their job function. This reduces administrative overhead. Public role. The public role defines the minimum level of access granted to every user connected to the database. Data owner. A data owner is the user with administrative privileges who creates and owns database objects, such as tables and feature classes. Authentication. Authentication verifies who you are, confirming identity through credentials, such as usernames, passwords, or Active Directory logins. Authorization. Authorization defines what you have the right to do after authentication, such as viewing, editing, or deleting data. And now let's take a look at threats to database security. Threats are potential events or actions that could compromise confidentiality, integrity, or availability of data. Threats to database security can include insider threats. Insider threats arise from privileged users who misuse or expose sensitive data, intentionally or accidentally. Human error. Human error includes weak passwords, password sharing, or accidental deletion or corruption of data. Software vulnerabilities. Software vulnerabilities result from unpatched systems or misconfigurations that can be exploited by attackers. SQL injection and code injection attacks. SQL injection and code injection attacks occur when malicious queries are inserted into database inputs. Denial of service attacks. Denial of service attacks flood the server with traffic until it becomes unavailable. Backup attacks. Backup attacks target backup files, which may not be protected with the same security controls as live databases. Infrastructure complexity. Infrastructure complexity increases the attack surface in hybrid or multi-cloud environments. Now let's take a look at best practices and security controls. Best practices. Best practices are established methods to keep data secure and maintain system integrity. Physical security. Physical security protects database servers and backup media in locked, access-controlled facilities. Role-based access control. Role-based access control assigns permissions based on job function and follows the principle of least privilege. Patch management. Patch management ensures the database management system and operating system are always updated with the latest fixes. Encryption key management. Encryption key management securely stores, rotates, and audits encryption keys used to protect data. Disable public database access. Disabling public database access prevents direct internet exposure and reduces intrusion risks. Security testing and penetration testing. Security testing and penetration testing identify vulnerabilities before attackers can exploit them. Backup security. Backup security applies encryption and monitoring to ensure data recovery copies remain protected. Real-time monitoring and alerting. Real-time monitoring and alerting provide immediate detection and response to security incidents. The CIA Triad. Now let's discuss the CIA Triad. The CIA Triad represents the three foundational principles of information security: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality. Confidentiality ensures that only authorized users can access sensitive data. Integrity. Integrity guarantees that data remains accurate and unaltered throughout its life cycle. Availability. Availability ensures that data and systems are accessible to authorized users whenever needed. That wraps up my GISP exam study guide prep for data security. You can also see Section 902 for related data security concepts that expand on these principles. Now you know everything that I learned about data security to easily pass the GISP exam. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so I can keep helping people pass the GISP exam and achieve the rewarding careers in GIS that they deserve. You can also find everything I learned to pass the GISP exam in my book, The Ultimate GISP Exam Study Guide, available on Amazon. My study guide is a comprehensive, graphical, all-in-one resource for passing the exam. You can find the link to my study guide in the description below. Thanks for joining me, and congratulations in advance on passing the GISP exam.